Hey you guys, I am so excited to share this practice with you. Breath work has become a huge part of my personal practice. It's taken, some time for it to grow on me like it has. So with that being said, if you are new to breath work, give it a real chance because I promise you it just takes a little bit of time for it to grow on you. Some of the breathing, exercises seem like a little weird at first, but I promise it will grow on you, and it has just, like I said, become such a huge part of my own practice. So I'm really, really excited to share this with you guys. I'm using peppermint and raven. I'm just going to use it on my hands and give it a good sniff because it's a really good way to just kind of clear your sinuses to really get like a full effect of this breathing practice. So let me know if you ever have any questions about specific breathing exercises. I'm happy to answer any questions. Let me know if you have any questions for oil recommendations or anything else like that. So please like this video if you get something out of this practice, and subscribe to my page if you haven't already. But yeah, I just want to say thank you again for the amount of support I'm getting, and I'm so excited to share this. So I'll see you on your mats. Alright, so go ahead and grab your blocks or blanket or towel or pillow, anything to kind of elevate your hips. If you don't have blocks but you're looking for blocks, I'm going to put a link below where you can purchase some. I get my blocks and my mats from Scoria, which the link is below. So you can check that out if you do need it. So go ahead and sit up on your block or your blanket or whatever it is to elevate your hips. And then just take some movements to kind of get comfortable in your seat. And then just relax your shoulders away from the ears, eventually closing your eyes. Your palms can be facing up or facing down. You decide. Just take a deep breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Do 2 more breaths like that. Inhale, nice and big. Exhale, let it go. One more time, breathe in, filling up. And then exhale, empty out. Good. And you're just going to find your ujjayi breath, your grounding breath. It's in and out of the nose. And then you start to add in that constriction to the back of the throat, so it kind of sounds like you're fogging up a mirror. Kind of sounds like waves of the ocean. So just focusing on what the breath sounds like, what the breath feels like, trying to slow down the inhales and slow down the exhales. Just letting your shoulders relax away from the ears. Let the weight of your hands get a little bit heavier where they rest. We'll add in some arm movements. It's called your mountain breath. So you can keep your ujjayi breath. Just inhale, sweep up and look up to the ceiling. And then exhale, release your fingertips down to either sides of your hips. And you'll do that a few more times. So inhale as you reach up, look up, be active through the fingertips. And then exhale, release your fingertips back down to the ground. Do a couple more times with the pace of your own breath. So go faster or go slower, you choose. And now we're going to add in a retention, a kumbhak. So inhale, reach up, hold your breath at the top of the inhale, catch opposite elbows with the hands, pull the forearms up to the ceiling, drop the chin down to your chest. So you're holding that breath in. It's called your internal kumbhak, that internal retention. And you're going to hold this breath in as long as you possibly can. That chin is still tucked into the chest. It's called your Jalandhara Bandha. Keep holding the breath in, kind of push past that urge to breathe. And then finally, when you can't hold the breath in any longer, you'll release your hands down to either sides of your hips. And we're going to do that with that internal kumbhak, that retention, one more time. But take a couple grounding breaths in between before we do one more round. So ujjayi breath. We'll do that one more time. So inhale, sweep your arms up, reach up, catch opposite elbows. When you get there, hold your breath in, drop the chin to your chest, that Jalandhara Bandha. And keep holding that internal kumbhak, that retention, and find that edge, find that point of discomfort, and try to push past a little bit, fighting that urge to breathe, focusing on your Mula Bandha as well, so that root lock, you feel your root engage, and then you feel that Uddiyana Bandha, the belly button lifting in and up towards the spine, and then finally you can exhale and release your hands down to either sides of your hips. You can rest your hands back down on your lap, on top of the legs, if that's more comfortable for you. Come back to that Ujjayi breath, in and out of the nose. That constriction is in the back of the throat, so you hear it, you feel it. I'm going to talk a lot about your bandhas, your Mula Bandha, that root lock like I mentioned, and then that Uddiyana Bandha, that belly button lifting in and up towards the spine, and Jalandhara Bandha is when your chin drops to the chest in that non-breath, so it's when you're holding that breath. And then all three of those locks, when they're all engaged, it's called your Maha Bandha, that great lock. So I'm going to be talking about those locks a lot. And when you feel the locks engage, it's kind of like a zipper from your root to your throat. So everything kind of like lifts up. So just be mindful of that when I talk about the different locks. Take one more breath in. Take a big breath out. One more time, inhale. And then fully exhale. And then I want you to place your right hand on your belly, your left hand on your heart. Keep your Ujjayi breath flowing, but I want you to feel your inhale, your belly fill up into that right hand, and then your chest rise into your left hand. And then on your exhale, your chest falls and your belly empties. Just really feeling how your breath is supposed to feel in your body. So inhale, your belly fills, your chest rises. And then your exhale, your chest falls and your belly empties. Take a couple more breaths like that at your own pace, just noticing those sensations. And then relax your hands down back to your lap. Your eyes can be opened or closed. I'm going to introduce the next breathing technique. So if you're new to breath work, then you can open up your eyes and watch me for this first round. I'll just show you what it looks like for each one, and then we'll do it together. So just to kind of feel what's happening in the body, like what it's supposed to feel like, I want you to place your hands on your stomach. It's called Kapalabhati, your breath of fire. So it's really active exhales, and the inhales are just passive, so they come naturally. So all you're really focusing is on the exhales. And then when you finish about 50 of those, we're going to take a big breath in. We're going to let all the air out, and we're going to hold the exhale, so that external kumbhak. And then once you let all the air out and you're holding the breath in, you're going to zip up the lock, so that Maha Bandha, that great lock. So the Mula, the Uddiyana, and the Jalandhara, everything's going to be completely engaged. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So like I said, some of the things are a little bit weird, but I promise it makes you feel really good when all of this is done. So it might take a couple times of doing a breathwork practice to kind of get the hang of each of these exercises, but just do the best you can. On the Kapalabhati and the next one that we do, Bhastrika, you don't have to go as fast as I am. You can go slower, you can go faster. It kind of depends on what gear you want to be in. So first, on, depending on what you feel, the pace that feels good to you. So we'll just go ahead and get started. We'll do around 50. If you end before me or end after me, that's totally fine. Just remember to hold that exhale as long as you possibly can, and I'll talk you through it. So here we go. Holding that exhale, that external kumbhak, you're feeling that zipper zip all the way up to your throat. Your chin is dropping into your chest. You're sitting up nice and tall. You're holding that breath out, and maybe even start to swirl in that non-breath. So sometimes when that energy starts to shift within you, it literally starts to shift your body around. So maybe you start to swirl in the non-breath. When you can't hold that breath any longer, you'll finally take an inhale, and then you'll finally take an exhale, letting all that air out, letting your body reground by coming back to your Ujjayi breath. We're going to do 2 full rounds of each breathing exercise. So again, if you don't get on the first one, just know we'll have a second round. And then you're going to start the second round whenever you feel like you are ready. If you want to keep your hands on your stomach and feel the belly button pressing towards the spine on each exhale, do that. If you feel like you're pretty, well versed in this technique, you can keep your hands on your legs, just kind of personal preference. So we'll get started whenever you're ready. Just start your Kapalabhati. So really, really active exhales. The inhales are passive, and then finally inhale. And then exhale, let it go. Hold the breath on the exhale. Find that Mahabandha, really lengthen up through the spine, really hold that really, really deep exhale out and keep holding that breath as long as you possibly can. You're going to start to feel that sense of urge to want to breathe. Try to keep pushing past that sensation, because that's where the growth happens. That's you learning how to soften around the stress that you're forcing your body into. So you're learning to soften around the discomfort. You're learning to, self-talk yourself through that discomfort. So hold that breath out as long as you possibly can. But when you can't any possibly longer hold it out, you can take an inhale and an exhale. Take a few Ujjayi breaths here before we move on to the next breathing exercise. It's called Bhastrika, your bellows breath. So like I said, I'm going to show you what it looks like before we do 2 rounds of it. So while you're taking your grounding breaths, I'll go ahead and show you the next one. So if you have any sort of arm, shoulder issues, you can keep your hands on your belly like you were. But I like to do it with the arms because it kind of helps me with my breath. So on your inhale, you lift your arms up. On your exhale, you pull your hands down. So inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull down. And then on the same thing, when you inhale, and then you exhale, you hold the exhale, same thing, that Mahabandha. So it looks like this. Hold the exhale, hold. You start to swirl in that non-breath like I was talking about. And then finally, you'll come back to your grounding breath. So if you need to switch legs like I just needed to do, go ahead and do that. Also, another option is to sit back in Virasana. Kind of helps elevate a little bit more. So this is the most elevating breath work, or the breathing exercise of this breath work practice. So if you want to adjust your seat like I just did, go ahead. And then we'll get started in Bhastrika. So inhale, exhale, let it all out. Hold the breath at the bottom of that exhale. Find that Mahabandha, that great lock. Feel that Mula Bandha. Feel the Uddiyana Bandha, belly button lifting in and up, and feel that Jalandhara Bandha, chin dropping to the chest. Keep holding that exhale. Maybe you start to kind of swirl in that non-breath. That energy is shifting around. You're learning how to soften around the discomfort of holding the exhale. It's kind of just translating to everyday life. When you get stressed, you learn how to soften around that experience. So that's what this is doing. So keep holding that exhale as long as you possibly can. And then when you can't any longer, take that breath in and just let that breath out. Take a few grounding breaths here, that Ujjayi breath, just to kind of re-ground yourself, recenter yourself, maybe give yourself some time to notice how you feel, how the heat is starting to build. The Kapalabhati and the Bhastrika are really, really heating breaths. And whenever you're ready, we'll do the second and the last round of this bellows breath. So we'll get started. Inhale, exhale, pull down. So inhale, exhale, let all the air out. Hold the breath at the bottom of the exhale. Lift up through the crown of the head so you feel the lengthening in your spine, but keep holding that breath out. You're gonna feel that sense of discomfort. You're gonna let yourself push past that, and then you're gonna let yourself push past that. You're gonna fight this urge that you're experiencing right now to breathe, and you're gonna hold, you're gonna soften, you're gonna feel the energy shifting. Maybe you feel your body swirling, but keep holding your breath out. And then finally, when you can't hold it out any longer, you'll finally take your breath in and then just let it go. Like I've mentioned before, if you can hold your breath longer than what I'm cueing, if you can't hold it for as long as that I'm cueing, do what feels right for you. Breathing exercises, breathwork practices are so personal, and it doesn't have to look the same for everyone. You can always skip one and just keep breathing your Ujjayi breath. Just kind of depends on what your body's feeling. I'm going to stay sitting back in Virasana. If you want to come back to a regular comfortable seat, Sukhasana, feel free to switch positions. So now that we've done our heating breaths, we're moving a little bit further up. So now we're going to do a cooling breath. It's called Shatali. So you're going to make like a straw-like, shape with your tongue. I don't know how else to put it. So it's going to look like this. So when the air is coming through the tongue, it's super cool to the back of the throat. And then this time we're doing an internal kumbhak, so that internal retention. So it's going to look like this. And then when you hold the breath in, you bring your tongue to the roof of your mouth and press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And you hold that inhale as long as you possibly can. Same thing. Those bandhas, those locks are engaged. The chin is tucked. The breath is holding in this time. And then finally you let it go whenever you can't hold it any longer. So we're moving up, we're cooling down. So whenever you're ready, Shatali, inhale. Pull the tongue in and up so it's touching the roof of your mouth. Hold that breath in. Feel that coolness of the breath in the back of the throat. Keep holding that breath in, but dropping your shoulders down. Feel the Mula Bandha, the root lock. Feel the Uddiyana Bandha, the belly button in and up. Feel the Jalandhar Bandha, chin to chest. Let the shoulders relax. Keep holding that inhale as long as you possibly can. Maybe you start to swirl a little bit. Maybe you're getting uncomfortable. That's okay. Learn to soften. And then finally you can exhale when you can't hold it any longer. And just like all the other ones, we'll do our Ujjayi breath in between. So just take a few Ujjayi breaths here. If you're still holding, keep holding. And we'll just take about 3 more rounds. Two more. One more breath in. Notice the sound of the breath out. And then we'll do one more round of Shatali. So inhale. Pull the tongue in and up. Hold that internal kumbhak, that internal retention. Feel the coolness in the back of the throat. Feel maybe your entire body starting to cool down a little bit. And you're going to find that edge where you're going to want to breathe. Push that edge a little bit more. Push past it, push past it. Keep holding it in, learning to soften around the stress, forcing your body into that fight or flight mode, but learning to soften around it so you can translate this to your real life. When you actually get stressed, you learn how to relax, you learn how to use your breath to your advantage. And when you can't hold that breath in any longer, you can take your exhale and then come back to your Ujjayi breath. I'm not gonna lie, it's very different teaching a breathwork practice with not having any students to kind of see and gauge where everyone's at. So I apologize if I'm stopping them too early or if I'm holding them too long. It's hard to gauge without having any bodies around me to, have that as a monitor for me. So thank you for being patient. If anything's getting kind of redundant, I apologize. So you're still taking a couple grounding breaths. And then we'll move on to one of my favorite breathing techniques. It's called Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So you'll take your right hand in front of your face. You'll drop your peace fingers down, so your pointer finger and your middle finger. And so the right thumb comes to the right nostril, the right ring finger comes to the left nostril. You'll take a deep breath in through both. You'll close the right with the thumb, and you'll exhale through the left. And then you'll inhale through the left, close, release the right, exhale. Same thing, inhale through the right, close both, maybe close your eyes, release the left, exhale. And then same thing here, just keep going from left to right while I talk. You can hold your breath at the top of each inhale for those internal kumbhaks. You can hold your breath at the bottom of each exhale for those external kumbhaks. And when you add in those retention in this Nadi Shodhana, it's called Anulom Vilom. So you decide what you feel in your body that you need right now, whether it's holding your breath in those retentions, whether it's just alternating back and forth. Also, if you're congested at all, you can always just do this breathing exercise in your mind's eye. So visualizing it happening from going right to left. So you'll take a few more rounds, allowing your nervous system just to slow down. Next time you exhale out of the right nostril, that'll be your ending point, and that right hand will fall on top of the left hand. The thumbs will touch. You'll sit up nice and tall. You'll close your eyes if they're not already, and just let your entire body relax. Just notice how this breath made you feel, this Nadi Shodhana. It's a really grounding breath. It's a really soothing breath. I like to do it before bed sometimes if I'm a little worked up. Just take a couple more Ujjayi breaths here to yourself. And then again, just noticing how you feel. Good. And for this next breathing exercise, it's actually our last one. It's called Brahmari, which is the breath of sound. We're going to do a mudra, so pretty much a mudra is just something you do with your hands. It translates to a seal. So this is called Yoni Mudra. So your pointer and your middle finger are going to rest on top of your eyelids. The middle or the ring finger is going to rest above the lips, and the pinky fingers are going to come below the lips. And the thumbs are right there, right next to the ears. And when the time comes, you'll close the ears when I explain what's next. So you're actually going to lie down on your backs. If you want to watch me while I do this first round sitting up, that's totally fine. So pretty much you're gonna feel the vibration in your entire body when you do this. So it's kind of acting as like an internal sound bowl, an internal vibration. So get as comfortable as you can lying on your back. You're gonna find that Yoni Mudra, the pointer finger and the middle finger resting on top of the eyelids, the ring finger resting above the lips, the pinky fingers resting below the lips, and then the thumbs right next to the ears. And remember I said they can seem weird at first, but I promise give it a chance. So find that Yoni Mudra, and then you'll take a big breath in, and then you're going to do a little slight hum on the exhale. So it's going to look like this. Sorry if that didn't sound very pretty, but when you do the hums, that's when you close the ears. So it kind of shuts the outside world off, and then that's when you really feel that internal like sound bowl sensation happening. So you'll do about 3 to 5 rounds of those. Try to really take deep inhales and try to make that hum on the exhales as long as you possibly can. It's called your bumblebee breath because you're making like a bumblebee type sound. So I'm going to do 3 rounds. If you go slower or faster than me, that's totally fine. And then this is going to end right into your Shavasana. So right when you finish that last one, you'll just let your arms lie out to the sides, and you'll find that final meditation and just really let your body and your mind just experience everything you just got from this breathwork practice. So find that Yoni Mudra. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, hum. You feel like you're complete, you'll find your final resting pose, Shavasana, your arms away from the body, your body completely relaxed. Maybe you feel a vibration in your fingertips and your toes. Maybe you feel a really sense of grounding, of peace. Whatever you're experiencing right here on your mat, just really try to take it in for the next few minutes. And thank you again for practicing with me. Thank you again for giving this breath work, this pranayama, a real chance. I really hope you liked it. And just try to enjoy this time of peace, this time of stillness.